Good morning, students. Welcome to the biology class. In our previous class, we discussed about the cell structure. That is about what is cell, what is the difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Today we will discuss contribution of scientists in the field of cell biology. So in this we will study about the various contribution of scientists, that how they help in the various discoveries which is being taken place in the field of the cell biology. The first is the discovery of cell. Who discovered the cell and who coined the name cell? The term cell was coined by an English scientist, Robert Hooke, in his book Micrographia. How did he discover the cell? You must be knowing in your previous class of the 9 that how the discovery of the cell is being done by the Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke took a piece of cork. Cork is a dead cell of the plant, as it is being shown in this particular picture, that this is a dead part of the plant. He took a piece of cork and cut it into the thin slices, examined under his primitive microscope, and observed tiny perforated and porous like honeycomb structures. Honeycomb means, you must be knowing, that is मधुमक्खियों के छत्ते की तरह. And these honeycomb structures are consist of number of small compartments surrounded by the thick wall. So these are the vacant spaces, means the empty spaces left by the dead cork cells and were enclosed by the cell wall, and Robert Hooke termed or coined the name cell because small compartments in English means cell. So Robert Hooke was the scientist who coined the word, that is cell, and with the help of a dead cell. So he observed the dead cell. The next is Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He is a Dutch scientist who examined the living cell for the first time. Robert Hooke observed the dead cell and he observed or examined the living cell of bacteria, protozoa, red cells. You can see the images, that is by the microscopic observation by the Anton van Leeuwenhoek, that is WBCs, that is white blood cells, red blood cells, yeast, sperm cell, that is spermatozoa, and bacterial cell, which he observed under his microscope. So this is the sperm cell or the spermatozoa, bacterial cell, yeast, and RBCs. Next contribution was given by J.E. Purkinje. As you know that a cell is having a boundary known as a cell wall, and inside the cell there is present a nucleus, and this blue color jelly substance is being observed by A.G. Purkinje, and he named that particular substance as protoplasm. And this protoplasm is considered as a living substance by which the cell is being called as a living cell. The next contribution is by the Robert Brown. He discovered nucleus in the cell of the orchid root. So you can see the nucleus is there. So each and every cell is having a nucleus in the center or at the periphery, and they are called as the nucleated cells, and he discovered the nucleus in the cells of orchid roots. The next is by the Rudolf Virchow. He stated omnis celluli e celluli. The meaning of that statement is that all the cells arise from the pre-existing cell. Means there is one parent cell which divide to give the daughter cells. They will mature and then they will divide to give the another daughter cells. So that means that all the cells arise from the pre-existing cell. So these are the various contributions which are given by the various scientists. That is the discovery of the cell by the Robert Hooke. Then we are having the Anton van Leeuwenhoek, who observed the living cell, Robert Brown, who discovered the nucleus, and J.E. Purkinje, who discovered or who has named the jelly substance as the protoplasm, and Rudolf Virchow, who has given the statement omnis celluli e celluli. The next and the very important question as examination point of view is cell theory. Question used to come in this form: who proposed cell theory, who modified cell theory, and why? So two German scientists were there. Number one is Schleiden, known as the botanist, and Schwann, that known as a zoologist. So Schleiden observed the number of the plants and Schwann observed the number of animals. And ultimately they come to the conclusion that they are made up of cell and the cell products, which they comes in the form of a cell theory. But the limitation of the cell theory was they did not explain how the new cells are formed. So दोनों साइंटिस्ट ने मिलके प्लांट्स और एनिमल सेल को स्टडी किया और इस कंक्लूजन पे पहुंचे, इस हाइपोथेसिस पे पहुंचे कि हर लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म, चाहे प्लांट है या एनिमल है, वो सेल से बना है और सेल के प्रोडक्ट से बना है. But they did not explain how the new cells are formed. So there was the name of another scientist, that is Rudolf Virchow, we have already discussed. They modified the cell theory by giving the statement that new cell arise from the pre-existing cell only. So the cell theory was now being known as the modern cell theory. So who proposed the cell theory means that is the Schleiden and Schwann. Who modified the cell theory, that is the Rudolf Virchow, and he is also the contributor of the modern cell theory. And why the modification is required? Because both the scientists, they did not explain how the new cells are formed. So next question is, what are the various salient features of the modern cell theory? What are the various postulates of the cell theory? This is very important question. So you have to explain the various postulates. Number one is, all living organisms are formed of cells and their product. So the cells are the structural and the functional unit of life. Each cell is made up of small mass of protoplasm containing a nucleus, and it is bounded by the cell membrane with or without the cell wall, because cell wall is present only in the plant cell, whereas the cell membrane, which is also being known as a plasma membrane, present both in the plant and the animal cell. All cells arise from the pre-existing cell. This is very important statement, very important feature of the modern cell theory. The fourth one is, all cells are similar in their chemical composition and metabolic activities. So the first postulate is, all the living organisms are formed of cell and their product. So the cell are the structural and the functional unit of life. Number two, each cell is made up of small mass of protoplasm containing a nucleus, and it is bounded by cell membrane with or without the cell wall. Third is, all cells arise from the pre-existing cell. And the last one is, all cells are similar in their chemical composition and metabolic activities. So which is very important. The question is, who proposed the cell theory, enumerates the various postulates, salient features, or the components of the modern cell theory. So the answer will be, that is your Schleiden, Schwann is proposed the cell theory and modified by the Rudolf Virchow, and these are the following salient features of the modern cell theory, the components of the cell theory. Clear? Now the next and the NCERT question is, cell is the basic unit of life, justify the statement. So how we are going to justify the cell is the basic unit of the life, cell is the structural and the functional unit of life by the various reasons. Number one, it acts automatically. and independently to perform various biological processes like oxidation of food to release the energy to grow and reproduce. Number two, it has a definite lifespan and does not depend upon any other cell for maintaining its function because it is self-sufficient. Number third, it regulates its activity owing to its internal information and is able to respond to the external environment with which it is in the direct contact. So the cell is integrated with the functioning of the body. Hence it is known as the basic unit of the life or the fundamental unit of the life. This is again very important NCERT question. Next is cell size. Cells differ greatly in the size. For example, the question may come, you have to name the largest cell, that is an ostrich egg is the largest cell. So this is the ostrich egg and this is being known as the largest cell. Mycoplasma or PPLO. What is the full form of PPLO? P is Peluropneumonia-like organism and it is being known as the smallest cell. So which is the largest cell? That is the ostrich egg, and which is the smallest? That is your PPLO. And the nerve cell are the longest cells. So these are the various size of the cells and that varies with the various nanometers are there. Bacteria का size, RBCs का size, सबका size अपने अपने हिसाब से है and they are different and they are variable. Next is your cell shapes. Cells vary greatly in their shapes. They may be disc-like, polygonal shape, columnar shape, cuboid shape, thread-like or even irregular. And what is the significance of the various cell shapes? The shape of the cell may vary with the function they perform, or you can say the cell have a various shape by which they can perform a better function. The example is human RBC, that is red blood cells, are circular and biconcave to transport the oxygen. White blood cells are amoeboid in order to squeeze out होता बाहर निकल के आना through the capillary walls to engulf मतलब खा जाना harmful substances. And the nerve cells, they have a long process in order to receive and send the impulse from one part of body to another. In this we can see the various images. So this is your red blood cells which is round and biconcave, and with that it helps in the transport of the oxygen. This is your WBC, this is your WBCs, means white blood cells. They are amoeboid in shape, so they can squeeze out from the capillary walls. They can engulf the harmful substances and make our body free from the infection. This is your nerve cell and they are having a long processes by which they can receive the various impulses and send the impulse from one part of body to another. The another picture you can see over there, that is a columnar, that is epithelial. They are being present, they are long and narrow. This is tracheae, that is elongated, and the mesophyll cells, they are round and the oval. So this particular image shows the different shapes of the cell. So we have discussed today about our various contributions. We have discussed about the cell theory, which is very important, and about the cell size and the cell shapes. So our next lesson will be on the overview of the cell, that how the cell is being divided, what are the various types of the cell. Till then, goodbye, stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. Thank you.